I left the door open for a night. You won't believe what happened next. It was one of those evenings when you're juggling too many tasks at once. Between answering emails, preparing dinner, and taking a phone call that ran longer than expected, I inadvertently left my back door slightly ajar. It wasn't until the next morning that I realized the oversight, and by then, the consequences were already unfolding in ways I could never have imagined. Let me walk you through what transpired. ###the morning discovery. As the sun streamed through the windows, I made my way downstairs, still groggy from a restless night. That's when I noticed it. The back door was open just enough to let in a draft. My heart sank. I immediately began running through worst-case scenarios in my mind. Had someone entered? Was anything missing? Or worse yet, had something or someone wandered in? I cautiously approached the door and surveyed the area. At first glance, everything seemed normal. My furniture was untouched, my belongings were right where I had left them, and there were no signs of forced entry. But as I stepped into the kitchen, I noticed something odd. A trail of tiny paw prints leading across the floor. ###the uninvited guests. Following the trail, I found myself face to face with an unexpected visitor, a raccoon. Yes, a raccoon had taken full advantage of my lapse in vigilance and made itself at home. It was perched on my countertop, inspecting a loaf of bread it had pulled from the pantry. For a moment, we simply stared at each other, both equally startled. After the initial shock wore off, I realized this wasn't just a simple matter of shooing the creature away. Raccoons are notoriously clever and surprisingly bold when it comes to food. This one had clearly spent the night exploring every nook and cranny of my kitchen, leaving behind a mess of crumbs, overturned containers, and chewed packaging. But it didn't stop there. ### a chain reaction. As I attempted to coax the raccoon out of the house, armed with nothing more than a broom and some cautious optimism, I heard a faint rustling sound coming from the living room. My stomach dropped. Could it be another one? Sure enough, as I peeked around the corner, I discovered that my furry intruder had friends. A second raccoon was busy investigating my bookshelf, knocking over decorative items in its search for something edible. At this point, it became clear that I was dealing with more than just a simple wildlife encounter. The open door had essentially turned my home into an all-you-can-eat buffet for local critters. As the morning unfolded, I discovered evidence of their escapades in nearly every room. Muddy footprints on the carpets, shredded paper in the office, and even a toppled houseplant in the hallway. ### the cleanup effort. Once I managed to safely usher my uninvited guests back outside, a process that involved equal parts patience and creativity, I was left with the daunting task of cleaning up their overnight escapade. It took hours to sanitize surfaces, reorganize shelves, and restore order to my home. But beyond the physical mess, this experience left me with some valuable lessons about preparedness and prevention. ### lessons learned. 1. Double-check doors and windows. This might seem obvious, but it's easy to overlook small details when you're busy or distracted. Taking an extra moment to ensure all entry points are secure can save you from a world of trouble later on. 2. Invest in wildlife deterrence. If you live in an area where wildlife is prevalent, consider installing motion-activated lights or securing trash bins to deter animals from approaching your home. 3. Be prepared for the unexpected. Encounters with wildlife can happen to anyone, even in urban settings. Knowing how to safely handle such situations, or whom to call for help, is essential. 4. Embrace humor amid chaos. While this experience was undoubtedly stressful at the time, it's now a story I can share with friends and family, and one that serves as a reminder not to take myself too seriously. ### the takeaway. Leaving the door open for a night may have been an innocent mistake, but it turned into an unforgettable lesson in vigilance, adaptability, and resilience. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them, but how we respond makes all the difference. So next time you're rushing through your evening routine, take a moment to pause and double-check your surroundings. You never know what, or who, might be waiting to take advantage of an open door.